The Ord River is one of Western Australia's most significant waterways, and the fertile alluvial plains of the Ord Valley are ideal conditions for farming and horticultural enterprises. Before the Ord was dammed, it was the fastest flowing river in Australia. The state and federal governments had long considered the viability of harnessing the mighty Ord River for irrigation since the 1940s, undertaking extensive agricultural experiments before the diversion dam was eventually constructed in 1963, marking the beginning of Phase 1 of the Ord development scheme. It's been a long journey, but finally, 40 years on, the Ord irrigation scheme has been expanded with construction of a new irrigation channel that will gravity feed water to a further 13,400 hectares of new land, giving the region the opportunity to unlock its vast agricultural potential and to further develop the regional economy. The Ord East Kimberley Expansion project is a collaborative partnership between the Western Australian and the Australian governments. This agricultural development has the potential to become one of Australia's largest northern irrigation schemes.
It's a great step forward for Kununurra and the East Kimberley, also for the local Aboriginal community, for the state and indeed the nation. This is a true nation-building project.
It's bringing the whole community together, the whole community, the non-Aboriginal people and the Aboriginal people. I think it should have been like this a long time back, I think our focus should have been in that area a long time ago.
When the irrigation scheme opened in the early 1960s, most Aboriginal people still lived a traditional lifestyle, but also worked for cattle station owners who held leases on their traditional lands. Many moved into town in the mid-1960s because cattle stations could no longer afford them because of the introduction of equal pay by the government of the time. The damming of the Ord meant that many past hunting grounds went underwater. This made the transition from a traditional lifestyle to a more Western one difficult.
Most of them, the majority always thought that station life was the good life for them. Everything was there for them. Practicing, Mirong culture was always there. They enjoyed working, I suppose, riding horse, but the bad thing about it was people getting moved out of the station. Their own home ground, actually, or their own backyard.
But people will work all their life in the station, keep the station up, all right? Work for the company, build the company up, we get nothing out of it.
When they saw all this water coming back, I think they got a big shock. Some of them were walking knee-deep in the water. That's how close the water came, they were just lucky.
Like in a hurry, we would move, get away from there, we don't want to get drowned. We would leave everything there.
They're the one that got the surprise of their life. Never seen anything happen like that in that particular country. They used to walk there and hunt.
Well, I think we've come a long way. I think previously in the Ord Stage 1 days, I think we never got a seat at the table and, we never spoke how the region should have been developed and all this type of stuff. There's a lot of opportunities now for employment, real true opportunities for economic development for our Mirong Gadjirong people too as well.
Well, the most satisfying thing to date is that a lot of non-Indigenous people come up to me and say, Duck, you're doing an absolutely great thing with Indigenous people with employment, and that sort of thing really breaks down a lot of animosity between Aboriginal people and non-Aboriginal people in Kununurra. I think that's the best thing I like about it.
In November 2012, the new main irrigation channel was opened, allowing water to be supplied to more than 30,000 hectares of farmland in the years ahead. Premier Colin Barnett and then Regional Development Minister Brendan Grills opened the irrigation infrastructure.
I am so pleased to be able to declare open the M2 channel and the OrdExpansion project.
A pivotal moment on this day was the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding by state, territory and Australian governments to progress the extension of the scheme into the Northern Territory. The WA government awarded Kimberley Agricultural Investment, KAI, the opportunity to lease 12,500 hectares of new land and take the next step to develop new farms and enterprises.
We are good at partnering with our Asian neighbours who are the consumers of our natural resources and of much of our agricultural produce. It's an important step in expanding from just the resource sector into agriculture.
Their goal is to be here long term. Agriculture is a long-term business, so you're in it for the long haul. It's an exciting project for the East Kimberley. Why wouldn't you want to be?
The Ord East Kimberley Expansion project has brought together state and federal governments, traditional owners and community to realise the vision of developing Northern Australia. Now Kai, the Mirrawong and Gadgerong peoples and the local community are working together to build an agricultural industry that will create a prosperous future for the East Kimberley region.